Hey everyone, I am just getting things set up, so just bear with me. Connect streaming software. Okay, hold on. There we go. Yeah, we're still pixelated, aren't we? All right, hold on. Let me just get us set up here on Facebook, and then I will be ready. Oops, hold on. It's always so anticlimactic, isn't it, in the beginning? Bear with me, people. Bear with me. Once I get everything set up. Okay, here we go. Yeah, it is what it is, Jody. All right, 1 second. Oops. You're all watching me type. Okay, hold on. I just want to make sure I'm alive on all three places, and then we will dive on in. Okay, let me get that up. Oh, nope, there we go. All right, hi. It takes a minute to get everything set up. Okay, wait, am I here? Ay, ay. Okay, hold on. Just making sure. I am. I'm live there. I'm live here. Good morning, Melissa. Good morning. Yeah, I asked my assistant, I was like, can you please figure out why my video is pixelated? Because when I'm on my computer here and like it goes on YouTube, it looks great. And then I look here on Instagram and it looks awful. And I look on Facebook and it looks awful. And she's like, close your damn tabs, Jody. So I did, but that still doesn't seem to be working. So I get to investigate. Anyhow, good morning. Hi, everybody. Jody Bentley here, running a little late this morning. I am an actor. I am the CEO of Actor Insider and the Actor's Office. I go live on the first and third Fridays of every month for a coffee and coaching hour. Today, I'll be finishing drinking my protein shake instead of drinking coffee to answer any and all business questions that you have about our industry, about your career, about what is going on with you. I just want to make sure I have everything set up here so I can see questions, and I do. So, yeah, this is a time for you to, just be real. Like sometimes I think we feel as artists that we have to know everything. Like we have to have all our shit together at all times. And oh, I don't want to ask this question because it might be stupid or it's dumb or I should know this. And I just want to say, if you've been following me for a long time, especially if you're one of my clients and I'm part of my that community, you know that everything is a safe space. So I just want to say, for those of you who are new to me, hi. And this is a safe space to be able to ask any and all questions that you have. Hi, Brooke. Welcome. Hi, Zavis. Zavis? Is that how I say your name? So I'm gonna just start us off talking about something that's top of mind for me. There's a few things actually. But I just noticed yesterday on the socials, um, that I felt like some people were posting articles that came out about Disney leaving Fox Studio lot. So if you hadn't heard about this, Disney is their lease is up, and they are leaving the Fox Studio lot. And I think there can be a lot of fear mongering in our industry, and I'll say this, I want to say rightly so to some degree because our industry has shifted. Right, there are things we get to pay attention to. We're still, we're still striking. We still have AI that we're fighting. There's all these things that we are battling in our industry for our own actor livelihoods. But I don't think it's helpful to promote fear-based thinking in the middle of that, when all we're trying to do is stay in the know, figure out our shit, and how can we make this career work? How can you make this career work? But anyway, there was this thing about, I think it's really hard too because, and I fall prey to this of just reading the headlines. Do you know what I mean? Like I get my notifications from a Hollywood Reporter, and that's really the one I use is Hollywood Reporter. Um, and I'll read the headlines, then I'll stop and read some stuff. But there's sometimes I'll read a headline and I go, oh no. And then when you actually read the article, you go, oh wait, it's not as bad as what you think it is. Hi, Amina. So good to see you. See you. Kind of see you, but be in your virtual presence. Um, so anyway, if you find yourself, skimming through headlines and going deeper into like, oh shit mode about our industry, I just invite you to stop and slow your roll. So yeah, so there was this headline: Disney leaves, Fox Studios. And it's like, okay, well, if you actually read the article, they're going to Burbank. They're not leaving Los Angeles. There's no doom and gloom of like our industry in LA is ending because Disney's leaving Los Angeles. They're not leaving Los Angeles. They're consolidating. As most companies are doing, they're probably paring down a little bit. They have open space in Burbank. They wanted to put everyone in one space for all of their shows. So read the articles, people. Do some deep dive research. If you go on the Fox Studios website, they actually have a plan to build 13 new sound stages. They have a plan to build, I think it was like a new 24-story office building. So, I think we get to pay attention to what's going on in our industry, but I just invite you to stay curious and keep asking questions and not just read the clickbaity headlines of things that just validate your own point of view of like, everything's leaving Los Angeles, my career is over. Because that is not the case. And I know, and I mentioned this probably on the last call. Oh, thank you, Amina. Thank you. And I mentioned this on one of our last calls that we've passed some new tax laws here in Los Angeles, and I think it was 61 new films are going to be shot in Los Angeles. 56 of those are indie films. It's going to bring 6,500 jobs to Los Angeles. So there are positive things. But then all I hear from a lot of people out there is, well, it's not enough. It's a band-aid. Okay, it probably is a band-aid, but it's something for now. And it's not the only thing that'll be doing. Do you think that Los Angeles wants to lose the income from the television and movie industry or tourism or anything? They're not going to let that happen. But we have to remember our industry went through so much stuff, right? COVID and on and strikes and everything. We are still recovering from that. There are changes. People, they're still figuring out business models. And I think we get to have a little bit of patience with that to know that things were going to get worse before they get better. And now they're starting to get better. And it might be a band aid, but hey, there's 61 productions coming to Los Angeles. There's a lot of things being filmed here. And then we look at the expansion that's happening in Texas. We look at the expansion that's happening in Arizona. We look at, where's the other one? Oh, I was just reading about somewhere else and now I blanked on it. That there are stages being built all over. So I think what this comes down to, and then I really want to hear your question. So again, for those of you just tuning in, I'm getting a little bit on a soapbox this morning about not falling prey to the doom and gloom of sometimes headlines and posts can make us feel because it's not truth, okay? That we got to really dig deeper for the truth. But at the end of the day, you get to look at oh, I got sidetracked. So I just wanted to say hi for those of you tuning in. Hi, I'm Jody Bentley. I am an actor. I'm the CEO of Actor Insider and the Actor's Office. I go live on the first and third Fridays of every month for a coffee and coaching hour to answer any and all questions you have about the acting business. So as I'm still chit-chatting here, I invite you to post your questions on Instagram. I'm live on Instagram at Actor Insider. I am live on my YouTube channel, Actor Insider, and I'm live on Facebook in my group, The Actors Workspace. Okay, I digress. But sort of why I brought all that up to start this conversation today, excuse me, is at the core of it, it keeps going back to a lot of things that I talk about is focus on what you can control. What can you control? You can control where you live. You can control how you run your acting business. Excuse me. Let me take a sip of tea. Sorry. One second. You can control how you show up in your business. You can control how well you do in your self tapes. You can control your craft. You can control how you present yourself in this industry. You can control the agent campaign that you do. There's so much that you can control. You can't control Disney moving to Burbank. You can't control some sound stages closing. You can't control a 35% tax credit versus a 40% tax credit, right? That's not part of what you're doing. And that's okay. But what you also can control is where do you want to live? What's the life that you want to lead in this world? What's the legacy you want to leave as an actor? Those are all things that you can control. So I just invite you to stay focused on what matters. Stay focused on what matters to you and your career while holding on to the big picture of our industry, paying attention to the trends, doing your part to support the livelihood of your career as well as those of your fellow actors, right? So we need to have that big vision and the vision for ourselves working together. But I'm just here to say, I've been an actor for a long freaking time. I've seen the ebbs and flows of this industry. I saw the 2008 strike. I was here for the the one strike we just had, for all the strikes we just had, right? I've seen a lot of changes in our industry. And it's when we resist these changes, we can only, then we start to really stay in that space, see the negative, focus on the lack. There's less opportunities. All of this is awful. Are there less opportunities now? Yeah. Are there still opportunities? Yeah. So I'm going to focus on what there is, not what there isn't. And I invite you to do the same because we are in a time where things are shifting. That is just a fact. That's a fact. So we can resist that fact or we can embrace that fact. And by embracing it, I'm not telling you to not fight for what is right. I'm not telling you to not fight for protections for us as actors. I'm not telling you to want more out of our government here in Los Angeles to bring more projects back. I'm not saying those things, but I'm just saying to have a happier existence as an artist, focus on what you can control. Let me know if this is making sense to you. Let me know. Let me say hi. Let me know how you're feeling. Drop a word in the chat of how you are feeling right now. Hi, Sonia. Hi, Caroline. Hi, Meg. Mega Watcha. I like it. Mega Watcha. Hi, Tra. Let me know. Let me know how you're feeling about everything that I'm saying or how you're just feeling in general. I think we just get to be really just cognizant, right, of the times we are in and uh, have compassion for each other and the space we are in. And let's not fuel the fire of fear. It's not helpful. It's not helpful. We know this. So again, what can you control? Sherry makes total sense. Sherry on Facebook. Thank you, Sherry. All right. So let's dive into some nitty gritty stuff. What questions you got for me? What's going on in your own career? I got to say, Josh says it's right on time, honestly. Good, good. And look, I do invite you. I was just saying that, we can have the doom and gloom of reading headlines. I do invite you to read the headlines. I do invite you to stay in the know. I keep notifications turned on from Hollywood Reporter. There's the only, like that and LinkedIn are the only notifications I get on my phone. Because I think it's important to know, right? And set those notifications. I want to know what's happening in the business of entertainment. I don't need to know the box office numbers. I don't need to know that so and so celebrity just joined something. I don't need that. I need to understand the business so I can understand what's happening in my own career. Because if I understand what's happening on the business, then I can understand, like, oh, I get why it's slow right now. Oh, I understand now. Oh, this is good. That's why my auditions picked up. I had more auditions this week. Why? Because more productions are being shot in LA because of the tax credits. Do you know what I mean? Like, there is a direct correlation between what's going on in the business and what's happening in your career. So I invite you to stay curious and open about that. And I get it. When I was in my 20s, I didn't give a shit. I didn't give a shit. I just wanted to audition. I wanted to book stuff. I wanted to be on stage. I wanted to act when I was in New York. I didn't care about what was written about in Variety and what was happening behind the scenes on the business side of stuff. And that was probably a detriment to myself and my career and the decisions that I could make, or probably in my own mental health and mindset at that time. So I think it's really important to do that. Hi, Alex. Hi, Jean Renee on Facebook. I'm sorry, I see Facebook comments here, but I see everybody here. Anyway, let me move this. So, all right, I'm going to get off my little soapbox again. So, what are you feeling? What's going on in your career? Let me know what questions that you do have. Oh, let me look. Let me make sure I got YouTube here. Okay, great. Um, I am, like I said, I am feeling like things are picking up. I had a couple really good auditions this week for really great projects. That feels good. I have lots of clients going on commercial auditions. I just shot a SAG industrial. I'm working on my next audiobook. Like there's things that are happening. How are you creating those opportunities for yourself? How are you seeking out opportunities? Are you sitting at home behind your computer, or are you are you researching to then make connections, to reach out, to take time to build relationships? Are you going to events? Are you going to film festivals? Are you doing things? A film that I'm in is at a film festival tomorrow. I get to go there. Like, what do you? If you're not even in those film festivals, go. Go network, meet up and coming filmmakers. What are you doing? It is so easy to stay at home and not do anything and complain. And I get it. And I'm not saying that you're doing that. I'm just saying to be cognizant. Again, be cognizant of even your own patterns. Like, how are you moving the needle in your career? Okay, Erica. Erica says, how to promote personal assistant work on Fiverr as a side hustle to get some cash flow. Tired of being a starving artist. Yes, Erica. Sorry, I got like phlegmy in my throat today. Well, Erica, first of all, I would look at, I know I posted that for you to look into, right? In the group when we were doing our 5-day training. I really invite you to look at Fiverr, look at research personal assistants, see what people are doing, see how they're setting up their profiles, see how they're charging things. I mean, you can look at, I mean, you just got to start thinking outside the box, right? Can you post on your LinkedIn account? Can you say you're for hire, right? And this is what you do. Can you post on Fiverr? Look at what people are doing, see what they're charging. Then you got to get that profile out there, right? What else could you be doing? Um, there's even a site. Oh, I know you said you do graphic design and all this stuff too. I keep hearing about the site called Task Master. I might be making that up. Task something is a new site that people are using to do tasks for things. So I think you just got to create that profile, get some testimonials. What's the skill set that you can bring? Just flesh that out like you would. Like how would you pitch yourself as a personal assistant? Why you? Right? It goes back to branding that I always talk about. Why you? Why is someone going to hire you as a personal assistant over someone else? What is it that you bring to the table? Get really clear on that, right? What's the benefit of working with you, not just the services that you provide? But I would really look at what other people, oh my God, I have like a rogue hair on my arm. I would look at what other people are charging on Fiverr and what they're doing and how they're promoting themselves. But yeah, there's Upwork, there's a lot of places where you can start to post some stuff. All right, let me know if that helps. Task Rabbit, thank you. Task Master is a show someone told me to watch. Leonie, hi. So I'm having a really down day today. I'm wondering if I'm really stupid to try to become an actor at 33. No, no, you are not stupid. Don't ever call yourself stupid. Please reframe that. Um, I have clients who start acting at 45. I have clients who started acting at 65. 33 is not old. You are not stupid, nor will I ever call you stupid again, nor should you. And yes, I'm going to should on you. I get that you're having a down day. We're all going to have down days. That you're going to spiral. It's just what happens in this business. You know what I mean? One of my clients yesterday, we had a Q&A call, a live Q&A call in one of my courses. And she was like, I spiraled for 24 hours and now I'm back. Great. Right. Sometimes we have to give ourselves that permission to be like, I feel like I'm old. I don't see anything written for me. Nothing's happening. I don't have an agent, whatever it is, get it out, right? Free form writing, write all that negative stuff out, rip it up, throw it away. What's the truth now? How are you moving forward? How can you give yourself love? How can you talk to yourself in a compassionate way, Leonie? Yes, I am at the exact age that I need to be to pursue this acting career. I know that I can pursue this acting career. I see people my age and older all over film, television, and theater. I know that there's a place for me, right? It's kind of like you gotta coach yourself through this mental thing that you're having. And it starts with compassion. It starts by being compassionate. So, Leonie, I get it. I've had down days. I doubt myself. I think if we didn't, we wouldn't be human. So don't look at that as a sign of like, oh, it's not possible. Look at it as a sign as God, I really want this, and I'm just doubting it. But again, 33, 43, 53, 63. I have clients 73. I have a client. How old is he now? He might be late 70s, early 80s. Just sent me the link to his YouTube channel because he's been doing all these YouTube videos. And it's awesome. So age does not matter. It does not matter. We make it matter in our heads. And look, am I saying that the industry writes enough content for every age out there? No, I'm not saying that. But they are writing it. It is happening. It is out there. So, Leonie, take a breath, feel your freaking feelings, and then be ready to move forward because there is a place for you in the industry. If you want it, there's a place for you. You do. All right. Let me know if that helps. If you have any other questions. Sorry, I got this tickle thing. I do have to finish my protein shake. All right. All right. Hold on, Facebook. Erica says thank you. Okay, John, I'm going to get to your question in a sec. John Renee. Okay, for some reason, you guys, let me refresh. On Facebook, when I see comments come through, I see four at a time and then they disappear. And I have no idea why. Okay, wait, maybe I can go here. Nope. Isn't that really dumb? Yeah, I have no idea. So I missed your question, John. So if I'm not answering you on Facebook, can you just copy and paste again? Oh, Leonie says, thank you. I'm crying here. We'll take the time to spiral for a minute and then get back on track. Thank you. Thank you. I just feel so stupid because I haven't achieved things yet. Stop saying stupid. Stop. I get it. I get it. You can say, look, I have actors say all the time, I feel so behind. I feel so behind. I feel so behind. You are on your timeline. You are on your timeline, and Tra's on her timeline, and Erica's on her timeline, and I'm on my timeline, and John Renee is on his timeline. John Muller is on his timeline. Everyone is on their own timeline, and it's okay. They're like, if you look at like, was it Ann Dowd? She made it in her 40s. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of examples. Google. Here's what you can do. Google actors who had their big breakthrough in their 40s. Google that. That'll make you feel a lot better because there's a lot of people. Okay. All right. Okay. So again, if you're posting in my actor's workspace, for some reason I see four comments at a time and then they disappear and I can't see them. So I think John Muller and another John Renee posted questions and I missed them. And I think there was one other one. So please copy and paste and I'll make sure to catch those right away. So sorry about that. Technology is fun, isn't it? Okay. Tra. I worked on a project recently. I had an audition earlier this week, researching more financial resources. Ah, ha, ha. There you go. See? Things are happening. They're picking up. She said, I needed to hear that for real. I love it. You're stepping closer to your breakthrough. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. I love it. I love it. Okay. So I wonder if there's a different way I can see these comments. Such a bummer. What's happening on Facebook? Okay, give me a second. Okay, here we go. Here we go. They put in there. Okay, Germany, I just said I'm feeling a bit burnt out with the desperate clawing for jobs. And for the first time in 5 years, I'm going back to the barista world. But I'm kind of looking forward to the monotony of it all. Yeah, I get it, right? I think, I think a lot of us are feeling burnt out this year. Like I just said yesterday, I can't believe it's like the first quarter of the year is gone and it feels like it's gone, like it went by so fast. Like I cannot believe it's April. Yet the first quarter of the year also felt like it was a year long. Do you know what I mean? It's like, God, how much more can we go through? Right. So I get that feeling of burnt out. And I feel that a lot in the acting community, John. So just know that you're not alone with that. And, I've even been talking to a few casting directors that I know, and a lot of them have had to go get money jobs because there's not, or like a lot of casting offices are kind of getting a lot of the work right now. And so it's not being spread amongst a lot of the casting directors. And as we said, we know production's less right now, right? So I just want to say it makes sense that you have to go get a barista job. Like I said, I have casting directors going back into teaching preschool and doing things like that. So it makes sense. And sometimes, like you said, the monotony of it all can sort of help reset our brains. Do you know what I mean? Like sometimes just that by rote stuff, because when we're an artist, and that's what we're doing all the time, whether it's directing, writing, acting, thing, there's this constant, this motion, right? It's that hustle that we hear about, that we feel like we're trapped in. And sometimes we just need a break from the damn hustle, you know? So, John Renee, it might be what you just need right now to have a little bit of a reset, a little bit of a refocus to then be able to dive back in, not burned out, you know? It's interesting sometimes the way things happen, and we can look at that as a setback, or you can look at that as like the universe is giving me a sign that everything's going to be okay. Because I also know you've been hustling. If I could add another syllable to that word, I would. You've been hustling. I don't know. You've been hustling with your music and with everything. And wait, and you're in a show right now, right? Didn't you just do Aladdin? Did I see that? Correct me if I'm wrong. So you've been doing so much. So this might just be the reset that you need to be able to move forward with more clarity. So thank you for sharing that. John Muller, I've been scared to put together the dreaded reel. I wrote about it and then began to put this together. I put something together and I'm not that bad. John, I love it. Right? Sometimes we're like, oh God, I gotta do this thing. This is gonna be awful. It's gonna be so much. This project is huge. How do I do it? And then we start doing it, and like 30 minutes later, we're like, oh, that wasn't so bad. Isn't it funny? It's just so funny. And I was literally just talking about this yesterday with clients in my Dare to Be Unstoppable program of how we spend so much time living in worry and anxiety, right? And if we're in that worry and anxiety space, oh my God, this real, oh God, and I don't know, and that, right? All these things. And if we live in that space, that's a constant energy expulsion. Do you know what I mean? And that's draining. And then we go, God, I'm so tired to work on this audition, or I'm so tired to do my marketing, or I'm tired to this. Well, no wonder, because you've been living in this energy expulsion of anxiety and worry. So how, and it's not easy, but how can we get to the place where we go, okay, I get to do this project. I'm just going to do it one step. And one step leads to another step. And the next step leads to that step. And the next step leads to that step, right? As opposed to looking at the totality of the thing. And how can we do that from a more centered place? And I've got to, you might have heard me say this before. Um, but if I don't meditate every day, I definitely start to feel here, right? And I've been doing longer meditations the past 3 weeks, and I've noticed a huge difference. And by longer, I mean like 25, 30-minute meditations as opposed to 10, 15-minute meditations. And I have noticed a huge difference in even just meditating that much longer. So it's like we got to figure out how can you stay centered, find your grounding, find your truth. So we're not constantly worried about everything. Or what do we say in this email? Or what do we do here? Or what do we do there? Now, granted, if you have systems in place, that all becomes much easier, which is why I have my membership, the Actors Think Tank, to support actors in agent campaigns, headshots, branding, what to say, pitch emails, writing, all of that, right? So when we have systems, we feel more confident in that. But it also comes from an internal place of how can I do this all with more ease? And really figuring out what that means to you. So John, I'm glad that you pushed through it, that you did it. And I know you. I've been in Q&As with you, so I know your energy, and you do have this intense energy about you. So I'm sure you just barreled on through and did it. And sometimes that works. But what could it be like even with more ease? Would be my question to you. So thank you for sharing that. Um, It is giving Aladdin, but no, it's not an original music based on the book. It's an original musical. Oh, got it. Understood. Well, I knew you were doing something. I knew you were doing something. um, John Renee says I'm looking at it as a reset some time. Yes, to write your next album. I love that. I love that. All right. Let's see. I don't want to. I'm going to answer Erica, and then I'm going to go over here and answer Abby's question. Okay. So let's see. Erica says, I subscribe to your think tank membership. What is my first step in moving forward? Is there a Facebook group? Oh, Erica, you would have gotten a link to join the community. Our whole community is hosted on Mighty Networks. That's where the entire course is. That's where all the lessons are, the worksheets, the templates, the examples. If you didn't get that email for some reason, check your spam or just email support at actor-insider.com. Sophia will help you. We'll make sure that you get that link and that you log on into the community. Yeah, that's a whole, like my Facebook here. This is fun. We do this, a couple times a month. But all the course curriculum and all the lessons you're going to go through, that's hosted on our Mighty Networks platform. And that's a closed group for just people who do purchase that. So if you didn't get that link, Sophia can help you. But check your email. But then just email us, or once this is done, let me make a note. I can always have Sophia reach out to you as well, because I did see that you did join. So I want to make sure that you get in there. And John, I know you had an issue with as well, because I know you upgraded. So we'll work that out for you today as well. Okay, Erica, let me just make a note for Erica, get in membership. All right. Got it. Thank you. Great. Erica reminds me of this wonderful series, Being Erica. I don't know it. I don't know that series, Leonie. Oh, there's so much content. And that's the thing, you guys. We go to watch television and movies and we go, look at all this content. Well, someone's booking that. Someone's booking all that content. Why can't it be you? Why can't it be you? And if it's not you, if you're not getting those opportunities, this is when you get to ask yourself, why? Why? What is in the gap between you where you are now and being on a Netflix, Hulu, Apple series, show, film, movie, whatever? What is in the gap there? And for me, it always comes down to clarity. It always comes down to clarity of self, so the industry gets you. And that's what I will always talk about. I will always lead with is branding. And for me, that is, I would say 90% of the time, that's the disconnect with actors is the branding. The other 10% is that they know their brand, it's just their mindset. But 90% of the time, it's branding, then mindset. But if but there's projects out there. If you go look through casting about, if you look at all the active projects that are there, you're going to be scrolling in New York and LA. There are a lot of projects being filmed right now. If you're not getting seen for them, there's something wrong with your brand, your materials, or your strategy. Simple as that. So let's fix it. It's all fixable, right? All right. Let me see. Abby, how do I manage being overwhelmed of doing too much as an actor? I sometimes feel paralyzed and can't do anything as a result. Yes. Let me know in the chat on wherever you're watching from here, if you can resonate with that question from Abby, that how do you manage being overwhelmed because you, as an act, doing too much as an actor because you feel paralyzed and don't do anything? Can anyone else relate to that? Let me know. Let me know if you can relate to that, because that is a common question that I hear. And one thing I want to Leonie says I love this life. I want to I've been listening to Brene Brown. I love Brene Brown. I don't know if any of you also love Brene Brown, but I've been listening to her book Atlas of the Heart. I've listened to like all of her books. But I'm listening to Atlas of the Heart right now, and it really talks about all of the emotions that we experience as humans, and really what the definition of those emotions are, like based in data, based in science. Because I think sometimes um, we generalize what emotions are. Anyway, I digress. But I'm saying this because of the word you used, overwhelm. And in her book, it's a really fascinating chapter on talking about stressed and overwhelmed and how we tend to use those words interchangeably. So I just want to share this with you, Abby, and then I'll kind of answer your question a little bit deeper. Yeah, people say relate. Yes, I can. Absolutely. Um, in Atlas of the Heart, she talks about, and she relates it to working in a restaurant. Um, uh, and I'll see if I can pull this analogy out. I think I worked as a hostess in a restaurant in New York in my 20s, but I never waited tables. So I get the analogy, but I might not have the correct verbiage around the analogy. So she talks about, like, if you're waiting tables and you're a little bit in the weeds, right? And you've run, but you've gotten behind, and the new table sat down and they don't have their bread, they don't have that water yet, and you're like, hey, can someone help me, right? And they so you get people around you to support you. She's like, I'm a little stressed, right? I'm not getting to all the tables right now. I know what needs to happen. I'm just feeling stressed. So she correlates that stress is that you see what needs to be done. There's just too much to be done, right? And you feel stressed because you know that you can't handle it all in the moment. And that's when you can ask for support. And then she talked about this other thing of when you're waiting the tables and the tables, you continue telling I never waited tables. I tried once, I spilled water on someone. It's not my thing. Not my thing. Um, that when you're like, you're so in the weeds, you don't even remember what ticket is for what table. You didn't deliver food. You don't even know what you need to do next. That's when you get paralyzed. That's overwhelm. When you're overwhelmed and paralyzed, that's when you need a break. That's when you need to walk away for 10 minutes. There's no managing it. There's no even asking for support because you don't even know what you need support in. So that overwhelmed feeling is, I need to go for a walk. I can't even look at this. I don't even know what to do. I'm paralyzed. I don't know how to move forward. I hit my mic. So stress is there's so much to do. I don't know where to start, but I see all the moving parts and I just have to make a choice. Do you know what I mean? Or ask for help. And overwhelm is paralyzed. So Abby, I guess I would ask, and why I share that is because I think a lot of times, even myself, um, I say, "Oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed. I'm so overwhelmed. I'm so overwhelmed." But I'm still in action because I know what to do. So I'm not actually overwhelmed into paralysis. I'm just stressed. And if I'm stressed, how can I gotta do it, delegate it, or defer it? It goes back to oh my God, what's his name? It's the book I like. Mm, blanking. I'll remember it. It's anyway. It's a book I like, and the guy in it can't remember his name. Can't remember the book. He says, do it, defer it, or delegate it. So if I'm stressed and I'm looking at stuff, I go, okay, I'm going to do this now. I'm going to defer that to later. I'll delegate this to my assistant. I'm going to delegate. I'm going to ask my husband if he can help me with this there, right? You can start to put the pieces together. Overwhelm is paralysis when we need a break. So Abby, I'm going to answer your question in terms of in both because we're in there. You do use the word paralyzed. So what that means to me is that you're so in it that you can't see a way out, right? And so staying in it and staying at the computer, going, no, but I have to do this. You will literally stay in being paralyzed. So I invite you to take a rest. Take a full day off. Can you take a full day off? Can you take an artist day for yourself? Can you just go see a damn movie or go to the park or take yourself out for a lunch or something? Can you just take a day off from everything and trust that it's still going to be there and then come back to it with fresh eyes? And then come back in and go, okay, what are all the moving parts? Okay, I have this, I have this, I have this, I have this. What is the most important thing for me to do right now? What is the number one thing for me to do that's going to move the needle? Or what is that people need from me on deadlines? Like if your agent said, hey, I really need you to update your actor's access, or I really need this from you, that obviously takes priority. But if you're just looking at all the projects you get to do as an actor, you got to take a step back and go, what is most important for me to do right now? And start there. And then go, okay, then this will be a May project. This will be a June project. You know what? I am going to need support with this. I'm going to reach out to my friend today to see if I can get their eyes on my website because I want to make some changes, whatever it is. Right. But it sounds like, Abby, that you just need to take a step back and from one doer to another, because it sounds like you're a doer, you're probably just trying to do too much on a daily basis. One thing that I do, and Leonie said, I loved your 6 to-dos per day method. And it's not mine. That was, now I'm blanking on who that was from. It was from a book, Ultimate Sales Machine? No, I think it's from the same guy, the other guy's name, I can't remember. This is really great. I'll remember it. I'll post it. It'll be great. I know his book's on my shelf behind me. Like I kind of want to turn around and go look. Anyway, no, I digress what I was saying. What was that saying? Um, I really lost my train of thought. We're talking about being stressed. We're talking about projects. We're looking at projects. I lost my train of thought. I lost it, Avi. But I think it is taking a step back, coming back to it, and that you're doing too much. I got it. I found the thread. That's why I was bringing this up. So on the 6 to-dos that, Leonie was talking about, one of those things is to really, like, what are the top things to do that day? How much time is it going to take you, right? So, I wanna work on my website, that's gonna take 2 hours. I gotta do my self-tape, I wanna work on my audition, that's gonna take me an hour. I'm just making things up. I gotta email these 3 people, 10 minutes, right? Whatever. Make your list. How much time is that going to take you? And then give yourself 2 hours, 90 minutes to 2 hours, if 2 hours feels too much. 90 it did used to feel too much to me, I used to do 90 minutes, now I do 2 hours. 2 hours of reactive time a day where you don't schedule things. Because Abby, my habit was I do this, I do this, I do this, I do this. If you saw my calendar, it's stacked, stacked. Um, and I accomplish a lot of stuff, but sometimes I get really stressed about it. So now what I do is I give a little more white space on my calendar and I put in 2 hours of reactive time. So what is reactive time? It's answering emails that come through. It's answering phone calls that come through. Your friend reaches out and they need to chat for a few minutes. Oh, you forgot you need to do this thing. Great. Oh, I need to run to the post office and drop this thing off. I don't know, whatever. Reactive time, because things come into our lives on a daily basis that we also get to respond to. And if I don't have all two, I need 2 hours of reactive time, I'll throw in some project stuff in there, right? It's like bonus project time getting done. But 2 hours of reactive time just so you don't stack your days too much. Because it sounds like you might be trying to do too much in one day and you're constantly looking at the totality of all the projects you get to do, trying to do them all at once, and you're in paralysis over it. Abby, does that make sense? Or does anyone relate to that? Anyone relate to what I'm saying? Let me know. Let me know. Oh, we have a YouTube comment. Carol, hi, Carol. Carol, give a thumbs up. Let me know if that makes sense. I get it because there are a lot of things we get to do as an actor, right? You are the CEO, the COO, the CMO, the CFO, all the C's and the O's. You're all of them. And I know that that wasn't your desire when you started your acting career. I know you didn't go, I can't wait to be the CMO of my acting career. I know you didn't think that. And that's okay, but that's what's required now. So again, going back to what I was saying at the top, we can either resist what is necessary to show up as an actor in this time that we are in 2025, or we can embrace it and take steps to um, make it easier for ourselves, get systems in place, get structures in place to support our careers, to support your career. Again, that's why I have my Actors Think Tank membership. That's what it is. It's everything I've learned in my 20 years of being an actor. I've been coaching actors since 2008. If you don't know me, I have been coaching actors since 2008 on the business of acting. I've seen the trends. I've seen, even in 2008, they were talking about how social media would elevate an acting career. The amount of followers would elevate your indie film career. They were talking about that in 2008. I spoke on a panel at Backstage in 2008 where they were talking about this very thing. And now in 2025, we're like, I can't believe that that's the way it is. We were talking about it in 2008. So we've been resisting it for so long. So you just got to take a step back and go, what have I been resisting? What do I need to move through? How can I look at things in a new lens and in a new way? You know? All right, let me go to some questions. Leonie, I'm developing my brand after your workshop. I'm trying to figure out my colors and fonts. I want to go for rebellious, optimistic idealists. Kate Winslet, Meryl Streep roles, early Julia Roberts characters. Great, Leonie. The method helps me so much, especially the estimation of time. Great, I love it. John Muller, there's a mantra: perfectionism, procrastination, paralysis. Correct. Correct. I'd rather do something imperfect than perfect every time. Every time. It's funny, sometimes I'll talk to actors and they go, yeah, I did 40 takes of that takes. I just kept screwing up this one line. Who cares? Who cares? Screw up the one line, make it your own. When you get on set, they might go, yeah, you know what, we really loved you did in the tape. Can you change it to that? Right? You don't, and like, perfection doesn't exist. I was just on set shooting an industrial. Um, the industrials go so fast. And I get in hair, get in makeup, we sit in the chair, camera's there, they're like, okay, let's do it, let's do a take. We did the take and I screwed up the last line. Uh I was supposed to be, "I don't know, I really don't," was supposed to be my last line. And I like, in the middle of saying the line, I had, like, a brain fart, you know what I mean? And I said, "I don't know," and then I just repeated, "I don't know." I was like, "I don't know. I don't know." Something like that, whatever. And, like, and then the take was over, and I was like, "Oh, man, I screwed up that last line." And, they said, "That was great. Thank you so much. You're cut. You're done." I was like, "Okay." We did 1 take. I even screwed up the line, and they were fine with it. So something again, perfectionism doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? Ugh, I can't know how much more I could say this to all of you lovely humans. And guys, when I say this stuff, please know I'm holding up a mirror to myself because I'm constantly reminding myself that it doesn't have to be perfect. It is an intentional practice to let that go. It's intentional practice. Even part of me on set where I wanted to go, "Hey, I screwed up the last line." Like, I wanted to say it, and I was like, "They have a script supervisor, the director's watching, the ad people are there, they know what they're doing, they know what they're doing. If they're happy with it, cool." You know what I mean? Alright, I digress. So what kind of content would you post on Instagram? This is from Leonie. What kind of content would you post on Instagram to support your acting career besides headshots? There's so much. I have to finish I usually have lunch at 12:30 and I haven't finished my breakfast, so just give me let me take 1 sip. All right, let's call that a day. All right, let's talk about posting on social. You gotta really know thyself, right? This is sort of my again my big mantra through all of the work that I do is know thyself. Because if you know thyself, you know your brand, you know the things that get in your way, your mindset, your limiting beliefs, your excuses. If you know all those things, you know your patterns, you know your habits. All of this career becomes much easier. How you pitch yourself becomes much easier. Everything becomes much easier. So first and foremost, and I know Leonie, you're in the process of that. Understand your brand inside and out, understand your branding themes, know what makes you tick, know what you love. There's lots of exercises I have in the think tank about just really understanding yourself as a human to then be able to create more content and be able to talk about who you are in more of an effortless way. But on social, as an actor, it's not just about posting your headshots. It's not about just posting self-tape clips. You're like once a quarter, I like to do like a collage of all the self-tapes that I've done that quarter and go, which one did I book or what did I get a callback for? Like make it a fun engagement post, right? That's always fun. But I occasionally post headshots. If I get new headshots, then I usually like post headshots and give a shout out to the photographer and things like that, but I don't always post my headshot. If I do post my headshot, I might frame it in a way of how that photo is really um, letting me tell the stories that I want to tell and like talk about what that might be to position me more as those kinds of roles. But also, it's a lot of like lifestyle photos. And hey, I'm watching Severance and here's what I think about it. But maybe it's a picture of me on the beach or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, what's your take on the industry? What's your take on stuff that you're watching? Giving a shout out to other creatives can be industry posts. I always do a post about my dog. That's a big part of who I am. On my personal Instagram, I always do a collab reel with my coaching business because that's also a part of who I am. So it's not just about posting about acting all the freaking time. Oh man, see, I didn't realize I had all this other stuff going on Instagram. Um, okay, sorry, it doesn't show me the scroll bar. Anyway, I digress. It's not always posting about acting. It's showing giving people a behind the scenes look, letting people know who you are as a human, who you are as a person. Because if you think about it, we're obsessed with BTS. We're obsessed with behind the scenes stuff. We want to see these actors when they're not acting. So figure out what's your through line. That's why I always talk about through line. What are the themes of the stories you tell? We got to figure out that through line to then be able to post about it so people go to your Instagram and go, oh, I get it. I get exactly who Leonie is. But it's not always posting your headshots. That's going to become very old and very tiresome. And it's not very engaging content for your followers, right? So it's starting to think outside the box. What can you be posting that allows people to know that you are an actor, that's also inclusive to the community at large, and also stuff that showcases who you are as a person and a human. Leonie, so everything is allowed. I have a Gestalt therapy coaching business, and I always wonder if I should combine the instas or not. Well, that's up to you, right? That's up to you. That's a personal choice. For a long time, I had my Jody Bentley account on Instagram. and I posted coaching stuff on there. I posted everything. And then my coaching business overtook that. And I felt like my position as an actor was watered down and negated. So I separated my Instagrams at the top of 2024. So that's why I have Actor Insider Instagram, and now I have a Jody Bevney Instagram. So that was my journey with that, but that's my journey. So you could have a separate one, because those might be two different demographics, but I just have a collab reel that shares both, so people know. Oh, and she has this Instagram. Oh, and she has this. So that way my clients know. Go. Oh yeah, no, she is an actor as well. Go to her profile there, and people who follow me as an actor go. Oh, I didn't know she had a coaching business, right? So I'm talking about that. So there's no right or wrong way, Leonie. If you have them separate right now, keep them separate and see how that serves you. I think you just need to focus more on your humanity and your acting account. All right, let me know if that helps. Okay. Do. Yes, indeed. Just reading. Abby says, will do. Makes thanks for dice makes all sense. Awesome. Okay, Tra, what are some? Oh, let me answer this one. Is the 2 hours of reactive or non-reactive time? It's reactive time, meaning I'm reacting to what's coming in, right? Like yesterday at the end of the day, I had 59 emails in my inbox, and that wasn't my coaching email. I don't even handle that. My assistant does. This was my personal email. I was like, oh my gosh. So I had to thank God I built in reactive time, and I got it down to 20. So it's you reacting to what is coming in on a daily basis. All right. So Tra also asked, what are some key points to implement in learning how to network? Okay, hold on. Well, I'm trying to think of how to answer this simply, because I have a bunch of systems and structures in the think tank about this. Um, Key points to implement in relearning is actually your terminology. Relearning how to network. Are you talking about in person, one on one? Can you give me a little bit more? Like, are you? Yeah, give me a little bit more direction if you want more one on one stuff or more group things, and then I'll answer that. Um, Leonie says, I love your input. It made my shitty day. Oh, good. I'm glad. I don't know how to send a lot of hearts, but I would if I could. I'm receiving them. I can send hearts. I think I can do it. Oh, it doesn't do it in my app thing that I'm on. All right. Well, imagine hearts. We'll give the hearts. Yeah, try get more specific on that question there. All right. What other questions do we have? We still have a few more minutes here. I'll wait for Tra to get a little clear on that. Um, yeah, let me know what other things are going on. What else is happening? Okay, got nothing there on YouTube. Um, Mostly in person, but in general. Right. So in person, like I'm networking one on one with someone and going out for coffee meetings. You want that structure, or you want group settings? I mean, group settings, I mean, uh, again, this goes back. Okay, I'll share this. I think this goes back to know thyself, right? If you know who you are, you know your brand, you know where you fit, you know your materials represent that, you know what you want, you know your goals, you know your strategy. If I'm at a networking event, I'm going to have like a little two-line pitch of who I am. So when I'm walking up to people, I know I have something to say. And at a networking event, I'll be going to one tomorrow. I'm going to a film festival where my film is. Unfortunately, my director can't go. I think the other two actors can't go. Dragging my hubby along with me, but there'll be a lot of people there I don't know. So I always I just start talking to people. Like for me, I might look for the people, or if you're shy with talking to people, I might look for the people who are sort of on the outside, like when we're at the event afterwards. Like, who are the people who are on the outside kind of watching, right? Who might not be there with five people or six of their friends or whatever it is, and go up to those people and start a conversation. And then they go, oh, tell me about yourself. I want to have a little 2 sentence, 3 sentence description of who I am, ready to go. So that way I know I have something to say. And I think the biggest thing about in-person large like networking event situations is being curious about the other person, being super curious about who they are, asking them questions, allow them to feel good and comfortable. I think that's your job, is you can really find a merge with somebody when you make them feel seen and heard. And I think it's really important. I really think that is our job as artists, is to make people feel seen and heard. So if I'm feeling nervous at an event, I'm going to go find someone who's not talking to somebody, go up to them first, introduce myself, have my little pitch ready to go, ask them about them. And then, if I'm there with someone, I like to tag team events a lot. Um, because I think it's good to go, oh, you got to meet my friend Tra. And then I can walk that person over and go, oh, Tra, meet David. David is a director and a writer and a producer. He had the film that we just watched in this block of the short films that we saw. Tra is an amazing actor. She's just had so many kick ass auditions. I'm going to go grab a drink, but you guys talk. I'll be back. And then I'll go, right? So I can be a connector. So the thing I'm always focusing on in networking events is how can I be curious and how can I be a connector? And those 2 things will really take you far. Does that make sense, Tra? Let me know if that makes sense. Hi, Dave. All right. And hi, Dina. I didn't say hi to you. Hi, Troper. Brian, Gaynell, Val. All right. And there's so much, and I get it. There's so much that we get to. Oh, let me take a breath. There's so much that we get to learn and implement in our acting careers, right? It's not just about learning the craft anymore. It's just not. That's a huge part. Of course, you want to deliver in the room. So, of course, we need to feel good about that. But there's so many other pieces we get to have in place. And so if you're missing the branding, if you're missing knowing how to package that brand and making sure all your marketing tools represent that, if you're missing how to position yourself in the industry, if you're missing how to really set up goals that are going to get you results and how to structure your days, weeks, and months, if you're missing agent strategy, casting director strategy, other industry strategy, and how to reach out, if you're missing strategy on how to network in one-on-one and group settings, if you're missing strategy on how to balance your financial life, if you're missing strategies on how to deal with the internal mindset conversations, good news is there's something you can do about all of that. You just get to make the choice. You just get to make the choice. And again, that is why I built the Actors Think Tank. If things I say on these calls resonate with you, great. Shoot me an email. Let's talk. I can share my programs with you. You can go to actor-insider.com. You can see all the free shit that I have there. You can read about all my courses and programs. If something resonates with you, then great. But all that stuff is figure outable, to quote Marie Forleo, who I enjoy very much. So it's all figure outable. You can learn all those things. You just get to make the choice to do it. It's just like the industry and how we look at it. You're either going to look at the industry as lack or you're going to look at the industry as opportunities. Where are the opportunities and where is the lack? So a lot of actors right now are simply looking at the lack, which is why we're starting to feel burnt out and sad and spiraling and doom and gloom and all those things. But where are the opportunities? What are the good things? And yes, we want more, but what are the good things already happening? All right, team. Hi, Jen. Hi, Brianna. All right. Leonie says, I love Marie Forleo, right? Clarity comes from engagement, not from thoughts. Ooh, yes. Love it. Love it. All right, team. Any other final question before we wrap it up? I don't want to, if anyone's mid typing, I will give you, I'll give you a few seconds. But I also just want to say this is your reminder to focus on what you can control. This is your reminder that a career as an actor is still possible. I am teaching at the University of Austin right now. I built their business of acting program. I'm teaching these 21-year-olds who will be graduating into this industry, the new state of this industry. I'm letting them know a career is possible because it is. So this is your reminder that your acting career is still possible. Opportunities still exist. It is still out there. The question is, how are you going to run your business now for maximum effect? That is the question. And if you feel like you're falling short in one of those places, then you get to change that. Simple as that. So again, DM me, comment below, shoot me an email, go to actor-insider.com. Again, if I resonate with you, great. I'd love to support you further. But just know it's possible. It is possible. It's possible. It's possible. All right. All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in today. It was so lovely to spend this Friday morning for me with you. Again, I do this on the first and third Fridays of every month. And I will see you next time. So have a great weekend, and I'll see you soon. Okay. Bye.